Hello, and welcome back to this channel. To be honest, today's video will redefine busy because today we're going to be doing as many things as we possibly can because number one, it is going to start raining for quite a few days. It's going to rain for about 48 hours just straight, and then we have to give it about a week for all that mud to fully dry up and all that soil to be, well, workable. So today it's going to be very, very busy. In a second, I'm going to tell you exactly what we're going to be doing. But before we do go ahead and start today's video, please subscribe, hit the bell notification on all so you not miss our video, and please like this video. Now let's go ahead and talk and really figure out what we're going to be doing today. So today was a very, very busy day. I did a lot of errands. Number one, I went to Lowe's and their garden center and I got a ton of plants, which I'll be talking about a little bit later in today's video. Also, I got my strawberries delivered, which are these, and I actually just got a lot more. And if you notice, I actually cleared off this entire shelf so they can start growing under here, on those grow lights, on those shelves. There's the word. But I also went up to the store today to get more fish. Now notice I did end up picking up some fish, but when I got there, the goal was to get about 3 different things: catfish, snails, and, well, 4 things: shrimp and goldfish. Goldfish was number 1, followed by snails. Now, sadly, they just got a lot of fish, so luckily, I was able to get a big amount of a lot of other things I really needed. But sadly, their goldfish, they noticed something off, that one of the fish might be sick, so their entire shelf was being closely watched. So sadly, they weren't letting me get any goldfish at the moment, but at the end of the day, that is still fine. I'll just go back in a few days when that is ready. But for the most part, I did get a lot of amazing stuff. Number one is I got a ton of snails. Now lately, I went about 2 months ago, they had absolutely no snails. They actually said they were on the waiting list for, I think, 2 months. And so I was very disappointed about that. So ever since then, I've been kind of really down to 1 snail and 2 in the ecosystem. I'm going to be putting, well, I got 4. I'm going to be putting maybe 3 to 4 in there, and then the rest in the main tank. I also got more catfish. So if you look at this tank, I have quite a lot of amazing stuff in here. I have 1 catfish and a lot of other stuff. And I actually have some other aquatic life in there that I will be talking about in a second. But sadly, they didn't have the exact catfish I wanted, but they did have something even cooler. So I don't know the exact name of this catfish, but these catfish have spikes on them, which isn't the best, but they're very, very cool. And I do think they could be a great addition to the fish tank. Also, when you do take them out, they kind of, well, almost hiss. That's not really the correct term, but that's what they said there. But that is very, very cool. Now, at the end of the day, every about 3 months, I do take out all the fish and move them to a temporary tank for a few minutes while I completely get 100% of the water out. Just a very deep clean throughout everything. Clean off the plants, which is just kind of rinsing them off and decolonize the water. Then I clean off all the gravel and all of that amazing stuff, and that just happened yesterday, if you guys want to learn how we actually do that. But something I'm a little bit nervous about with those catfish is they might be a little bit aggressive. And right now, they look a little bit aggressive, but I think that could be fine. At the store, they were really swimming fast, so I'm a little bit nervous that they might try to attack some of the goldfish, because right now it is pretty peaceful in the tank currently. So if they are aggressive, I'm going to try to find a new home for them. You're probably wondering where. I'll have to figure that out eventually, but right now, that's not my biggest concern. Also, I asked how big they get, and they said from about here all the way to here. So that is very, very big. Now, obviously, at the end of the day, that's kind of how the goldfish are too. So it will take a few years before they hit that size, but kind of the same with the goldfish. Once they do get that big, I'll just have to relocate them and just kind of find a new home for them. Because at the end of the day, I would much rather give them a new home instead of kind of risking basically just putting them down the toilet. So I'm going to try to avoid that at all costs unless they get very, very sick and they end up passing. So very, very excited about really what's up for this summer and a lot of just future works here. So I'll be putting those in the tank probably in about an hour to two to make sure their water has changed to my water temperature. Also, this part of the video isn't done. I ended up picking a ton more shrimp. I got about 8. Just check all those out. I do have some here and there in the tank, but lately I haven't really noticed many. I actually had one die out, and then earlier when I was draining the water and kind of fixing it up, you can kind of notice it is still a little bit cloudy, so I'll probably do it again later before I do put the shrimp back in. But for the most part, they're looking very, very good, and I'll probably move these into that home very, very soon. But for the most part, I'm going to go grab the plants, and I'll see you guys in a second once I'm able to show you guys. All right, so first of all, I have so many plants. I got about, well, 4 different types of plants. Number 1, bare roots. So these are the strawberries. I've had so much luck from Park Seeds with these plants. I'm super, super excited about that. So I ended up purchasing the same amount you can see here, and I ended up picking up 40, and I'm very, very happy because Park Seeds actually gives you about 8 to 10 extra just in case some don't grow. So at the end, you actually make up your money very, very well, because if you look at it, every single one grew. So I think that is insane success. So I ended up ordering a lot more because I really do want to work with strawberries for my dream business that I am going to be working with very, very soon, in about 2 years. But with that, there's a lot of amazing stuff. I'm going to be doing a lot of testing, but I'm waiting on my last shelf. If you notice, I actually am using some brand new grow lights. These are actually a beautiful purple color, more of a purplish red, more of a lipstick type pink, very, very dark pink. And while these are more of a pink, just a white pink, very, very kind of cotton candy like. So that's how these look. These are a very, very advanced and fancy type of grow light, so that'll be very, very cool. I also ordered the 2.0 shelf, and that's what's taking quite some time before it does get here. But I also ordered 6 fans. These are very, very quite small, but that one is covered up, but you can kind of see how big it is. There's only 1, not 2 in this, but it's going to be a great, great thing to really use. I'm probably going to just add whatever onto this, try to do some adjusting on the shelves to make the testing as accurate as possible. Half the strawberries are going to go in a different room under the other grow lights while I'm doing a ton of testing, and same thing here, but using different grow lights around the other ones too. So that way I'll be able to learn if using the different color is the best choice, if I should just stick with what I'm using now. So I also ordered, well, I guess I went up to Lowe's and picked these up today, but I ended up getting some Italian oregano today. I ended up picking up some huge basil leaves too, and then I ended up picking up some massive tomatoes. Now, if you look at some of the tomatoes I'm growing currently, I'm growing cherry tomatoes, and I'm growing the classic kind of medium-sized tomatoes. I ended up kind of picking up, well, the big boy, the steak, big steak type one. This one looks really, really good. Very, very excited to work with this, and we'll just see how it does, and if we really do get some very, very big tomatoes. So that's basically all for all of that. I'm gonna go ahead and go outside and start getting ready. We're also gonna be planting a ton of pumpkins too. So today will be a very, very cramped full day. So most likely, I'm gonna take a little bit of a break right now while I kind of unpackage some of the strawberries. Then I'll most likely go ahead and dump in all the aquatic life, all the snails, fish, and shrimp. Then we'll most likely go outside, plant some pumpkins, and start planting a lot of the other stuff right there. Tomatoes will most likely have to stay in here because the tomato kind of netting isn't fully ready. And I would rather plant everything at the same time instead of planting stuff in phases. So really, really excited about that. But basil and oregano will go outside today. I was a little bit disappointed I wasn't able to find lemongrass, but it sounds like they're going to be getting that plant in very, very soon, maybe in about 2 weeks, hopefully. So if I do end up going up there one day, and if they have lemongrass, I'll be very, very excited, and definitely will be picking up maybe 2 or 3. So for now, I'm gonna go ahead and kind of prep the garden, and I'll see you guys in a second, and then that'll be putting all the fish and aquatic life, snails, all of that in these tanks. All right, it's been about an hour since I did the last video, and first, all the shrimp are gonna go ahead and go in. Just lightly dump them, and you can slowly kind of see them drop in. There we go. Beautiful, beautiful fish. And yeah, we'll just see how everything does. But for the most part, I'm gonna go ahead and put the other fish in. All right, so I just put a pretty good assortment of some snails in there. And I have a ton of the rest ones right here. So I'm just gonna put them in this and then lightly drop them like that. And I want to be as nice and gentle to them as possible. Now, I don't know exactly how I'm going to do this, but I'm going to slowly kind of get their packaging open. I'll most likely put them in this, and then we'll go from there. All right, so the catfish are in here. I'm going to go ahead and dump them in and see how they react to all the goldfish in here, and make sure nothing bad happens. So I'm just gonna kind of keep an eye on it till they kind of notice there's other fish in here, and work from there. All right, well, so far I've been watching them for about 5 minutes. They ended up kind of going over to where all the goldfish were hiding. Now there are a lot of great hiding spaces just in case maybe the catfish do get aggressive at some point later tonight, but for the most part I'm gonna be keeping a very close eye on them for the next few hours while I'm working in here. And yeah, let's go ahead and go outside and start planting some beautiful plants. So I'm starting to get everything outside ready. The fish are still doing quite good, but I have 3 spaces outside ready for planting. I have 2 plants that will definitely go out today, but there's also a ton of plants over here that I was also hoping to use. So there is lettuce growing out there, so I might consider maybe replacing some of this lettuce with this once the lettuce is harvested later on. But I'm growing bunching onions, which will most likely go in that area. I'm also growing spinach. That will probably go in that area also. Asparagus probably will. Broccoli, I don't know with that, but I need to figure some stuff out there pretty quick. Well, and the good thing is, a lot of those are not ready to go outside yet, so right now I don't have to worry about those yet. All right, so a lot of barking going all around, but let's just kind of ignore that for now. I ended up getting all the plants. I'm going to be doing oregano and basil. Looks like when I was inside, I thought I had less than I guess what I thought. I don't know what my thinking was there, but I'm actually going to have 3 more after I'm done planting these. So I should have enough room for basically everything else I was telling you guys about inside. So I'm very, very happy about that. I think I was over predicting because I did get a few other plants a little bit more than I thought I did. So maybe it was just, well, something went wrong there, but I'm going to be planting oregano in this area and then basil. Now I really hope once these do grow a lot bigger, I'm really hoping a lot of these don't look the same. Now obviously the plants are very, very different, but maybe one day I'm just, that's always a concern maybe here and there, but it'll be very interesting to see how these do. I'm going to go ahead and plant the oregano first, and yeah, let's just go ahead and start the time lapse, and then we'll go on to basil on the same time lapse. Alright, I just finished planting everything. Now we have 3 spots left, so I think that should be enough for quite a lot of other things. Lettuce, who knows how that should do later on, but it is starting to recover very, very well, so I'm very excited about that. Basil looks really, really good. I think I'm just going to let it grow for quite some time. Now, I was trying to be as close to, well, good as possible because I was trying to make it look really, really good. Now, at the end of the day, it still is in really, really good spots, but I was hoping I could have it kind of 2 in the back and 1 in the front. Now I did accomplish that, but I was hoping it'd be a little bit more less to the side and more into the middle, but that still works perfectly. But it does look really, really good. Very excited about it. The plant won't look that good for probably the next 3 days, but for the most part it looks amazing right now. And for the next like 48 hours, it's gonna be raining a lot. So we'll see how this does. And I think these plants will really enjoy the rain coming up. So we've so far done 2 out of the 3 things we really need to do. Let's go back inside, go ahead and unpackage all those bare roots, soak them for about 10 minutes. And I'll kind of talk about that a little bit more when time comes down to that. But then once that is done, we really need to plant everything, put it on the shelves, water it, and then boom, that'll be the end of the video. So let's go ahead and start getting those unpackaged, and I'll see you guys before we start soaking those. Now, we got both of them, 2 beautiful things, and check out the amount of leaves on each one. Now, this part is pretty simple. All you have to do is kind of just take them all out, just like that, and then boom, you have a ton of bunches of bare roots. Now, we're only going to be doing 1 for this, so this part's not 2 hours. Check that out. Looks amazing, but it needs a severe cleanup. So, this one will be the strongest. You're going to want to pull this one off. This one was the runner when it was sent off the main plant this came off of. Then, here and there, you're just going to kind of want to take off some of these dead leaves, stems that actually grew when this was thriving, and then you can already see kind of the roots from the old one. So that is cleaned up. I'm just going to kind of clean it up a little bit more around the base. You don't really have to do this much cleaning, but make sure you do not rip off those leaves. If you rip off those leaves, your chances of the plant doing very, very successful will be a lot lower. Also, I'm going to be mentioning this in a second, but when you do plant it, you're going to want to kind of put your finger right here, and then that is the main crown. You do not want to bury that, or it will rot and the plant will be pretty much done for at that point. But notice how it is very dry. Now, since I did order online, these plants have traveled thousands and thousands of miles to my hands, actually. So, all you're going to want to do, get just a bucket of water. Now, for the amount of plants I'm going to be working with, I'm just going to do it in the sink. Now, it will make the water a little bit dirty, but all you have to do is just drop it in the water, let it sink, and then you're just going to want to keep doing that multiple times. That is an amazing one, but just keep doing this, and then once it looks good, you can go ahead and just let it sit. So I'm going to go ahead and do this one pretty quick, and then now for that leaf, since it does have a lot more leaves, I'm just going to take off the worst looking one, and these leaves will eventually die. Once the plant can really start putting off those first roots and grow those next leaves, the plant first leaf will eventually kind of dry up. Then you're just gonna want to take that off. I am still taking some off, and I started planting them a week ago. Well, actually about 2 weeks ago now, but there's that. And you're probably wondering, how long do I soak it? You can soak it anywhere between 5 minutes to an hour. Do not go over an hour. It does not need that much water to the point where you're drowning the plant. You're just going to want to leave it in there to the point where the plant can get wet but not soaked. So just keep that in mind, and good luck with this process, and make sure do not damage the plant, or the plant will be quite hurt. And notice that I'm struggling a little bit to get that runner off. If it's like that, all you can do is grab some scissors, cut it, and you're good. But for now, I'm just going to go ahead and do 200. Now, I just finished. It took about 30-ish minutes, a little bit lower than 30, but everything's looking good. I made sure to get everything good from the smallest detail, but check that out. I really want to just let you guys know, when you guys are kind of cleaning up your bare roots, make sure that you are trying to get everything that looks like it is good. And kind of what I'm saying here is, a lot of people don't want to make that big of a mess. Now, obviously, I did make quite a big mess right here, but that just shows how much you can clean up each bare root. Now, I do have about 50 plants, so there is still a lot of things, but just check that out. Now, I'm going to let that sit for about 30-ish minutes, maybe 45, somewhere in that area. But once that is done, I'm going to grab a few towels, lay them down, kind of stack them up, let them sit for about 10 minutes. And then once they can almost kind of get all that extra water they don't need, off of it, I'm going to go ahead and grab some cups, show you guys kind of the cup draining system I'm using, and I'll show you guys the best way to plant it and make sure your strawberries will thrive the best. So, I'll see you guys in about 40 minutes. And I'll be cleaning that up too. Now, I've used so many pots for almost everything, but something new I started was this. So this is a bigger cup. Now, when I put bare roots in like this, you're not gonna get far. It's just, you plant it and then you have to transplant it 2 weeks later. So I'm using this so it can grow a lot more, and the roots aren't as hard to put in this. So, this one has great drainage. Number one, when starting and growing strawberries. Strawberries need great drainage. Let me tell you what, if you underwater, the plant will most likely not look as good. And if you overwater, you will basically be drowning the plant to the point where basically it's dying out. I've made that mistake so many times where I've accidentally killed some strawberry plants by overwatering. So at the end of the day, make sure your pot, your cup, whatever you're going to plant it in, has drainage and has enough drainage to the point where those strawberry plants can thrive and dry up when you do overwater. So, let's just kind of put this out of the way, and I really do want to show you guys. So, this is how they look. No light, no nutrients, all of that doesn't look amazing. But after about 2 weeks, it should look like this. Now, notice this does have pretty good drainage. You can kind of see the parts right here. It's doing very, very well, and check out how green and beautiful those plants are. So I usually don't buy soil. Well, lately I haven't bought much soil from just soil mixes. But for this case, since I see strawberries more as my prized plants in a way, I really do like to use a lot more better soil that I've known does really, really good, because I've actually had so much success using the soil. So, what you're going to want to do, you're just going to want to drop some in here. Now, at the end of the day, don't be afraid to make a mess. Now, if I were you, I'd consider doing this outside. Now, right now, it is actually pretty late, so it is extremely dark outside and actually pretty cold currently. So, let's just grab a random bare root. Let's just kind of bring them down a little bit to the point where they're kind of sticking down. Now, make sure, I want to say this before I do go ahead and plant it. This is a crown. Forget the roots, let's cover that up. That is a crown. You will notice it is extremely firm and hard, but when you kind of go down, you can kind of start to feel that it's a lot kind of looser, you can squeeze it and it doesn't have any resistance. So kind of hold it right there, almost pinch it right there. Then do it right there, kind of where you want it to stick up in the air, and then put soil around that root base. This part can be a little bit time consuming, and make sure to kind of compact the soil. Don't compact it extremely hard because you don't want to damage the plant, but make sure you still have a pretty good grip around the crown because you do not want to bury that. If you do bury that, your plant will rot. Let me tell you what, I've watched so many videos about people saying that, and to be honest, I always thought, man, they're just kind of saying stuff, they're kind of just stalling while they're planting. And let me tell you what, I've actually made a mistake before. Plant the crown above the soil. If you don't, you will strongly regret it once the plant is actually fully dead. So just simply don't do it. Then that looks great. Now we're just missing one thing, which is going to be water. Now I'm using kind of a water bottle with a ton of holes on the very top. All I want to do is kind of do that. Now it isn't full of water. You know what? Let's just kind of fill it up with some water really quickly. There we go. We got a little bit of some water. Let's kind of screw on the cap. And then all we have to do is that water good and nice. And it'll actually look a lot healthier in the morning. That's how fast this process starts. And I will water this again with my main system. But I'm just going to go ahead and try to get as much as possible. I have a ton of plants I still have to do. But for the most part, this is going to look very, very good. And make sure, I will say this too, if you do happen to bury your crown, all you have to do is kind of push up on it and you are good. Or if you happen to bury it, if you didn't bury it good enough, just bring up the soil and you'll be good. Yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and finish all of those, and I'll see you guys in a second once basically all of them are on the shelf. All right, it is now about 10:15 at night p.m. and I'm very, very tired, but today was such a good day on getting stuff done. so productive. Now for the next few days, it's not going to be extremely productive, but I'm really hoping tomorrow I can finally get all the new plants in. I might consider keeping the parsley in, but for now, there's a lot of plants to work with, so I'm very excited about that. From getting a ton of plants, planting a ton of stuff outside, planting a ton of, pumpkins. So late I couldn't even remember what we planted today. It was so busy. But I didn't film that, but we ended up planting a ton kind of off camera. But check out all of these strawberries. Now, for a lot of you guys, if you guys happen to be new to this channel, I've really had some big dreams on creating my own business where I grow a ton of produce. So, which I'm going to be calling Go Forth Produce. Now, I'm very excited to really launch this. Now, you're probably thinking, isn't this kid in high school? He's still in school. Why on earth would he do that? I am really hoping I can start building. Construction can officially start basically a month from now in a year. Hopefully, that's when construction could start, maybe middle of June or maybe end of May, somewhere in that area. But for the next year, I'm really hoping I can do a ton of testing. Number one, strawberry plants do take about a year to fully grow and mature to the point where they can produce some very high quality strawberries. So that's one reason why I ended up ordering so many. Also, it gives me a great opportunity to do a ton of testing to figure out the best and most efficient setup I can possibly get my hands on with different colors, different nutrients balances, stronger nutrients, less strong nutrients, different soil, compost, different, just all sorts of different things combined together to form possibly the best strawberry plant you can possibly come up with. So I'm going to be doing a lot of testing. We basically have everything else, fans that will be installed later on, and a beautiful grow light system. So I'll be doing a lot of work with that. I'm really hoping the main shelf can get delivered soon. I can't guarantee it because it's still quite some time away, but for now, there's gonna be a lot of progress. Very excited for all of that. But sadly, this will be the end video. If you guys like these types of videos, please subscribe, hit the bell notification, and also you're not upset video, and please like this video. I really do want to thank you all so incredibly much for watching today's video, and I'll see you guys tomorrow when we post next. Also, before I do end this video, we will not be doing an informational plant tour because it is so late today. So just keep that in mind. This will be the end of just kind of the videos for today. And yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow when we post next. Peace.